Bad business. Point guard of the Los Angeles Lakers, Lonzo Ball, has severed ties with co-founder of the Big Baller brand, Alan Foster, over the whereabouts of roughly $1.5 million from the Ball's personal account and their business accounts as well. Now, it is worth noting that Alan Foster does have a criminal past. Foster, who's actually a friend of Lonzo's dad, Lavar, they met around 7th grade when their kids were both playing basketball together. Lonzo said he believes that Alan Foster used his access to Lonzo's business and personal finances to enrich himself. And Lonzo said, as a result, I have severed ties with Alan effective immediately. Alan does own about 16.3% of that Big Baller brand. Foster has served as a business manager of all of the Ball family companies, including Big Baller brand. According to documents and emails, questions about Foster's business decisions and communication were first raised last fall to Lonzo and Lavar by Lonzo's financial advisor, who goes by the name of Humble Lukanga of Lifeline Financial Group. Back in October, an email that Lonzo's personal taxes and Big Baller taxes could not be completed on time due to an inability to account for the whereabouts about $1.5 million. Sources close to the Ball family told ESPN that Lonzo expressed his concerns about Foster to his father, Lavar, at the time, but it looks like Lavar pretty much deflected the situation and no one took care of the missing $1.5 million. Lonzo was heading into a season and wanted his father to handle the business. It wasn't until this week, the same sources said, that Lavar fully reviewed the email warnings and documents from Lukanga. Lavar had been overseas for the betterment of the last 6 to 7 months with both his boys who had been playing basketball out the country. The sources described Lavar as stunned when he read over the emails and documents. He declined to comment but issued a statement to ESPN calling the situation devastating. I've always believed in the best in people. Regretfully, I put my complete trust in Alan Foster to manage my son's business affairs. At the end of the day, family comes first, and I support Zoe wholeheartedly. Together, we will make this right. When contacted by ESPN last week to discuss his past and the Big Baller brand, Foster initially offered to arrange an in-person meeting alongside Lavar at the Ball estate in Chino Hills, California, but repeated subsequent attempts via email, phone calls, and text messages this week to reach Foster for his perspective were met with no response. Late Thursday night, Foster suggested a meeting in the Ball estate on Friday, but then late on Friday suggested mid next week because he was super busy. He otherwise offered no comment. 2 weeks ago, when Lonzo was doing an interview about off the court and on the court topics, an ESPN reporter asked him questions about the status of the Big Baller brand and also whether he had been aware that Foster had a criminal past that involved financial misdeeds. Back in 2002, Foster was sentenced to more than 7 years in prison after pleading guilty to 1 count of mail fraud and 2 counts of money laundering as part of a scheme that defrauded 70 investors of $4 million, according to federal court records obtained by ESPN. Foster was also ordered to pay $3.7 million in restitution to the victims. Lonzo said he had not been aware of that history and that he would check into the matter. Multiple sources close to the Balls told ESPN that Lonzo soon after began asking those close to him questions about Foster's past and also began to revisit the allegations made by Lukanga back in October. The first significant concerns about Lonzo and the Big Baller brand finances came in the fall when Lukanga sent 2 emails to Lonzo and Lavar about a financial review that raised questions. In an October email sent to Lonzo and his father under the subject line urgent, $1.5 million missing, Lukanga wrote that he had been unsuccessful in having Foster track down where the $1.5 million in cash had gone. Lukanga wrote that he had repeatedly asked Foster about transactions totaling the amount, but Foster won't show any invoices of documentation of these expenses. He won't even give me the number to the vendors he says he paid. I've never seen a company operate by withdrawing millions in cash. Only you and Allen can withdraw cash, and I know you didn't take out $1.5 million, so where's the money, said Lukonga. Lukonga attached 2 itemized reports to the email that he alleged showed unexplained cash withdrawals from the Big Baller brand and transactions between BBB and Foster's business, Marathon Consulting Inc. Over $1.5 million had disappeared, and he has wired over $474,000 to himself through Marathon Consulting. So close to $2 million has touched Allen's hands, but $1.5 million of it disappeared in cash and can't be tracked, Lukonga further wrote. The whereabouts of the $1.5 million remained unclear. By late November, Lukonga was no longer representing Lonzo, and now he has been rehired by Lonzo in recent days and after all this turmoil with Allen Foster. Lukonga said, "My purpose in this lifetime is to protect, serve, and educate families, especially black families." Lukonga said it hurts his heart to see the Ball family be taken advantage of. I love the family. Things aren't right with the companies. Again, Lukonga is the financial advisor, again, for Lonzo Ball, who was the guy who first made it a point of emphasis to the Ball family that something wasn't right with their finances. It looks like Lavar and Lonzo kind of ignored these missteps early on, and once time continued on, it looks like now Lonzo and Lavar are kind of backtracking, and they see that somewhere along the lines, Allen Foster has somehow hidden $1.5 million away from the family, and now their business will be with the IRS. More details on this situation are soon to come. It's also worth noting that the Los Angeles Lakers have now gotten into this situation. They are now questioning Lonzo Ball about the Big Baller brand product, as Lonzo has now seen his first 2 seasons cut short due to injury. The Lakers want to know, dear Ball family, if you guys are not even keeping up with your finances, how are we to assume that you guys have done your proper research on the shoe that you're currently wearing, and if it's not harming Lonzo Ball's body and further not giving him the assistance and protection he needs going forward, and could be causing some of these injuries that have plagued Lonzo's young career. Thank you guys so much for the time, love, support. More information on this is soon to come.